Folks, it feels like I die a little inside every time the sun comes up. Like, why is this? Why do I let this get to me? What kind of dynamics going on here? When I wake up early, I've been trying to wake up like earlier, going to bed a lot earlier, but just like shifting that work window because the mornings feel a lot better, I've found. So I've just kind of fallen into that. But waking up before sunrise, it's this weird thing. I guess the good probably outweighs the bad, but it's just like this switch that happens when the rest of the world wakes up. You know, I'll be trying to write or work on something or whatever, just like getting going on something. There's this good energy. It's just dark, stars are out, it's quiet, sit by the window, and there's just nothing going on out there. And it's just weird because I have like a clear direction a lot of times and like be excited about what I'm working on. It will all feel like so good and powerful and natural. And then when the sun comes up, there's like this whole, I don't know. It's like a whole nother layer is added on, like you weren't kind of naturally you weren't aware of because it was just you and it was just quiet. And then when you see more cars coming around, there's more noises, you know, people, the day is just starting. You know, maybe there's some kind of unseen, you know, just like a self-consciousness comes in a bit and you create this other layer that wasn't there, where now it's not just what ideas do I have and how can I implement those, which it kind of was before, I think, before the sun comes up. But after, it's like you put that whole other layer on things kind of unknowingly, and it's hard to get out of that. But like that whole other layer of, okay, well, here's the idea, but then you're also thinking, how is this idea going to be taken? You know, how do I explain this to the people I know? You know, how will this be perceived? And how do I work around this more politely or more, you know, all that stuff. And I don't know, maybe some of that's good because like you do exist in the world, but that's not really what I think it is. I think this switch or like whatever happens is something that I need to figure out like how to work to get rid of that feeling completely. And it has been getting a little better. I think just like through taking some simple actions here and there, maybe, you know, like actually doing, and I need to get a lot better at it, but like even just kind of implementing or trying some of the smallest ideas kind of helps to some degree, because then it shows you can start to move through it and you're not just constantly letting, I guess you're not, and maybe it just comes down to whether you let that sunrise get to you or not. Because you can, I don't know, with practice maybe you just ignore it and then you can see that ideas, you can just do things. So that's just something I've noticed, and I didn't used to really wake up too early at all, so I don't know, and most people maybe have always noticed this, and I don't know, it's not that crazy of an idea, you know, it makes sense. It's just kind of going from peaceful to ordinary, or like expected or ordinary in a general sense. Emerson has a line that kind of applies here. It's not like about the sunrise or day starting in particular, but he says like trusting yourself in these voices in like your own direction. He says these are the voices which we hear in solitude, but they grow faint and inaudible as we enter into the world. And I don't know, I might be right after that, but nearby in Self-Reliance, he says, society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. So, I mean, he goes pretty dramatic with the whole thing, but sometimes that's what it takes to get ideas across, maybe. And his tone gets like pretty intense in Self-Reliance. And it's good. I mean, it's a very powerful piece, and that kind of ties in I don't know. I mentioned Emerson and self-reliance a lot on this channel, and I probably will continue to. It's a great piece, but also it's like one of the, I don't read a ton. I'm trying to get better at that too. It's like one of the actual guys and pieces I've actually like read after being forced to in college, and have kind of stuck out to me, so I explored it more beyond that. But that's kind of it, you know, the whole consistency and conformity themes he talks about in there. And I think that's just kind of what subconsciously creeps in when you exit the solitude of the pre-dawn, and like it's kind of exiting, I don't know, it's kind of a good metaphor, because there is nothing, you know, there's nothing going on out the window, nothing to catch your eye. And it's not just like people talking and cars going and stuff. It's, I don't know. It's just the whole, I don't know, part of it's like the literal light itself. And maybe that's just because you get used to it. You know, like the dawn and sunrise, it's like this really unique low sun, and things just look really different. You know, if you get a little frost or fog or something, it's like this whole different world, and it's kind of cool. And I really enjoy that, you know. But when the sun just gets 8 or 9 o'clock, it just gets up a little bit. It just, everything looks normal, you know, I guess, because it starts to look similar then to how it looks all day with the higher sun. There's no dramatic shift. Yeah, the sun moves and the shadows move, but like just generally from that point on, it kind of looks the same until you enter dusk and sunset. So it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. I really want to get over that. And I think it's good if, I don't know, I think I'm going to keep waking up early. That's been crazy, a crazy shift. You know, I found I wasn't getting, I would always have this like thought or ideal, you know, like I'll just work, I can work late at night, I can get some more done. But it wasn't happening. I would just end up doing something else. And it would kind of be a wasted chunk at the end of the day. But at the beginning of the day, you know, kind of shifting, am I going to be awake in these night hours or these early night hours? So I just like shifted that. And then I found I don't do this, like it's a lot easier to get going on something I feel I should maybe be doing in the morning versus the evening. So that was a good shift. And the sunrise thing is weird, but I don't know. It's just something to acknowledge and work through. I think just, I don't know. It literally just describes the challenge of, I guess, like trying your own thing in the world, which is hard and does not, it's hard. I mean, it's always worth it if you have ideas to try. Nothing is ever guaranteed, of course, nor should it be, you know. I don't know. I think if you have, here's the thing on that, this will be its whole video. We'll end with this quickly though. The whole thing on like, I don't know, following your passions, that I don't know if that's the best advice, because I don't think people really even know. I don't know. We won't talk to that too much. I don't know a lot about that. But beyond that, like just doing your own thing. It's not as simple as like, just don't give up and whatever. But like if you have, it's more about belief. And that kind of gets into like what I think might actually be going on here. Like what forces actually shape reality. But that's pretty abstract. I got to look into that more. But more simply, it's just like, if you actually have a reason for wanting to do something that you would consider, you know, your own thing or whatever, if you have something behind that, and not just like, oh, I don't want a normal job, or like, I just don't want, if there is like a specific reason and purpose, you want to do something, that's a lot different. And I think that's nearly impossible to not work out in some regard if you do have that spark behind it. So it's probably really more just about finding that, because number one, that'll help you stay with it. And number two, it'll be like authentic things naturally surface and resonate. And so if it's like an authentic goal or reason for it beyond, you know, I just want to I just don't want a normal job. I want to find something to make enough money doing my own thing, you know, and that might be possible too. You know, there's endless possibility, but I think it's impossible in any kind of longer time frame to not something you actually have a vision for and want to work towards. If you just chip away at it, I think it's nearly impossible for it to not work out in some regard or lead to something similar or whatever. It's just a theory I have on that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll do our best. Folks, I'm trying to stop dying inside every sunrise. It just kind of kills that whole expectation, the whole normalcy thing just kind of kills the spirit to some degree. So I'm trying to get rid of that, and whatever. We'll chip away at it. We'll see you next time.